Okay, let's start. So welcome to lecture 13. Again, why I given the link or the name to the lecture as lecture number 13 is because we had some kind of technical issue in the previous lecture. So I was not able to show you the actual demos because the ADP connection was not working at that time. Okay, so due to the technical reasons, we took that particular lecture. But since I was not able to show you the actual programming demos, what will be naming this particular lecture as the same lecture number 13, and whatever the things we have covered in the previous lecture, the same things with some additions or with some programming demos that we are going to cover in this lecture. So as we said here, so we studied something called as the intent filters. Now let's try to understand what do you mean by the intent filters. So intent filters are typically used in case of the implicit intent. So whenever you are not specifying the name of the destination activity, what you are using is something called as the action and the data. Now the action and data means you're not specifying the actual destination activity, but you are specifying some of the attributes of the destination activity. Now the destination activity which is capable of handling such kind of attribute is chosen by the Android OS. Okay, so as I said here, in case of the implicit intents, the Android OS chooses a proper application for you based upon the action, based upon the data, and sometimes based upon the category. Now, how the Android OS will know that whatever the intent, action, and data that we have, which application can handle that? So for that, the Android OS uses something called as the intent filters to pinpoint the set of activities which can handle the intent with specified set of actions, categories, and the data. So whenever you build an application, and if you want your application to handle any kind of intent, then you must specify that this is your application and this particular application is capable of handling this action or this kind of data to the Android OS. Okay, then the Android OS will come to know that for which kind of action it has to choose your app. Now, while informing this information to the Android operating system, how you can inform that? The answer is very simple. You have to use something called as the intent filter. So intent filter basically gives the information about your application's behavior in case of the intents to the Android OS. Now the thing is, what are the important points regarding to an intent filter? So as we already said, every application can provide the information about the action, the type of data as well as category it can handle. Now this information must be provided in a manifest file. So always remember, whatever this information is there, that should be provided in a manifest file. Now, while providing this information is typically surrounded by a specific element, and that element is called as the intent filter. Okay, so as we have written here, this information is typically surrounded by a specific element that's called as the intent filter. Again, this can be used for the handling the intent also, along with the categories. It can be used to handle the intent for the services. At the same time, it can be used with the broadcast receiver. Now, why I'm telling the broadcast receiver, because we have studied some part of the broadcast receiver in the previous lecture. And one thing, if you are implementing the intent filter for handling the intents inside the activity, what you need to write is your intent filter must be enclosed between the activity tags. Your intent filter must be enclosed between the activity tags. Now let's try to understand this, how we can do this. So let's try to create a new project here, and I can say I'll simply write it as filter demo. So let other things will be as it is, and then we click on finish in order to create the app. So let me clear the annotations on the screen. So this is the example of the intent filter. As you can see, the intent filter is basically an element which typically has a opening tag and a closing tag. And inside the intent filter, I have to write the things, or I have to write the kind of attributes for the intent that current activity can handle. Okay. So as you can see, the app build is finished. So this is my main activity. This is my main activity actually. So let's try to create one more activity. So we'll add a new more activity, which is an empty activity. So I'll click on empty activity and let's choose the proper activity name for this. Okay. So I'll call it as, suppose, handler activity. I'll simply call it as the handler activity and click on finish. Of course, you can give any name to the activity. I have given the name as the handler activity. The reason behind that is this particular activity is going to handle the intent of specific action. Now, actually, whenever you add the activity, the entry will be added inside the manifest. So let me close the other things. And let's go to the handler.java, which is the Java code for the handler activity, and activity handler.xml, which is basically the XML UI design for the handler activity. We'll go into the manifest.xml. So as you can see, this is the manifest.xml. And since we have now two activities in our project, one is the main activity and another is the activity whose name is handler, I can see there are two tags. Okay, so there are two activity tags. The first activity tag is saying the corresponding class name is the handler. So dot at the starting denotes it's a class. Now the activity name is equal to dot main activity. It denotes it's basically a main activity. And as you can see, within the opening and closing tag of the main activity, what we have added is the intent filter. Okay. Now what this intent filter says, this intent filter says the main activity or the activity whose class name is main activity is our activity which is able to handle the action main. So it means this will be the activity which is first visible whenever we click on our app icon. Then the category is equal to launcher. So the category says how your app is going to behave. Okay. So when I say a launcher, it means this particular application is going to appear, this going to be appear on your home screen. Okay. Now this was the related intent filter for the main activity. Now what I need to have here is I have to write the intent filter for the handler activity. So always remember, if you want to write the intent filter for any activity or any component, that should be enclosed between the opening and closing bracket of that particular activity. So as you can see, this is the starting tag of the handler activity and this is the ending tag of the handler activity. And I should create a child tag between this and it should be named with the intent filter. So that's it. So I have created the intent filter tag inside the activity which we want to handle some kind of intent. Okay. So the same example we have shown here. Now here you can see this activity name is the custom activity and it is basically want to handle the event of type view, action of type view. At the same time, it can handle action of type launch. Okay. and the category will be the default. The category will be a default one. Now, why the category is given as default? We are going to show you the demo, so don't worry about that. And what kind of protocol it can handle. So here you can actually set a scheme for the data, which is the HTTP, or sometimes you can also provide the data MIME type. So either you can provide a scheme or you can provide a MIME type. No problem with that. You can provide either one of them. So if you observe this particular intent filter, this is basically the intent filter for browser kind of app. For intent filter for the browser kind of app, because this is going to open the actual application of handling the protocol HTTP, which is most of the times done by the browser. And when I say action underscore view, it means the purpose of this is to view the web pages. Now, let's try to see, or let's try to understand it in terms of the example. So I call it as making your app callable. I call it as making your app callable. So what do we mean by that? Whenever we want to handle any built-in data in your Android, okay, just like the built-in apps, I want my app to be suggested by the Android operating system. I want my app to be suggested by the Android. Now, how to do that? Okay, so since we have created here the project, let's try to understand. So what I want is whenever user will go into the gallery and will try to open the image or will try to share the image, okay, whenever user try to click on share the image, okay, it should suggest our app. Okay, so let's try to handle that. So when I say when the user wants to share the image, it means user wants to send the image. So action will be action underscore send. Then at the same time, since I only want to restrict my application to handle the data of type image, I can specifically provide the MIME type for data as image slash star. Okay, now let's try to understand this. Okay, so this is basically our activity handler. Okay, now as I said, this basically should handle the action of type send, because whenever I'll click on the images send button, it should suggest my app. Okay, so action underscore send. And when I typically want to only restrict my application for the images, I can provide the data MIME type. So the corresponding tag is the data and the attribute is the MIME type. Now for restricting our app only for images, I can provide image slash star. It means you can provide the support for all kind of images. Star denotes all kind of image, while this particular part denotes the type. So basically, how you have is the MIME type is type slash subtype. Okay, so that I think that's enough. Just try to run this code and see what happens. So the Gradle build will take some amount of time. Yeah, so as you can see, it's installing the app. And once it's installed, it launched there. But our aim is not to launch the app, but whenever user wants to share on the image, okay, so here you can see my app is installed here with the name filter demo. So what my aim is, whenever the user wants to share any image, okay, so my app should be suggested. So what I'll do here is I'll open this particular image. Okay, now let's try to click on share. Okay, so I'll click on the share button. Okay, so as you can see, in the share button, the various apps are suggested. So WhatsApp is there, Facebook is there, Drive is there, Bluetooth is there, Gmail is there, even Telegram. Okay, Instagram is there. Okay, Duo is there. So it is suggesting various kind of apps. But even if I have given the intent filter here, even if I have given the intent filter for action underscore send and the MIME type as image, it is not suggesting my app. Okay, now this is the important thing. This is the important thing. The reason behind it is not suggesting my app because I have not set this particular apps category as a default category. In order to make your app to work as a built-in apps, okay, you have to provide the category for your the intent filter as the default category. So let's try to add it. So I'll say category name, and the name will be the default in this case. The name will be the default in this case. Now let's try to run this code again and see what happens. Yeah. So our app is now executed. We'll go to the photos again. We'll click on the image and we'll click on the share. Okay. Now this time we have to look for the suggested apps, and if everything is right, our app will be suggested. Okay. So as you can see, Telegram is there, Instagram is there, Messages is there, and as you can see, the app is now appearing. So the app is now appearing. So filter demo is now suggested. The reason behind that is now we have provided the category as the category name default. Okay, so that's why it will suggest the app. Now this intent filter is given to the handler activity. So probably click on this filter demo, it should open the handler activity. So just if I click here, and as you can see, it says sharing with the filter demo, and it has launched the handler activity. It has launched the handler activity. Now the thing I want to do here is it is launching the activity, and at the same time, it is actually sharing the data. It is actually sharing the data with our application. So what we have now here is we have two apps. We have the first app, which is a gallery. So what I can say here, this is our first app, which is a gallery. If I click on share and select my app, the intent will be created with image as a data, and it will be passed to the my app. It will be passed to the my app. Now the image will be passed as a data to the my app. Okay, now just the thing is I have to just refer that image. I have to just refer that image which is given by the intent, and just I have to display that. Okay, so inside the activity handler, I have to take the data from the intent and I have to show it inside the activity. Okay, now since the data is of type image, in order to show that data, I need to have the control which is called as the image viewer. I need to have the control which is something called as the image viewer. So in order to proper placement of the image across the width and height of my activity, I'll take the height as well as width as the match parent. Now, in order to identify this image view inside the Java program, I need to provide ID to this control. So let's say its ID will be @+ID img1. So img1 is just the name that I have given. Of course, you can give any name. Now, this is the image view which I have created inside the XML file of the handler activity. Now I need to refer that image view inside the Java file of the handler activity. So this is the Java file of the handler activity. So in order to refer the XML image view component, I have to create the corresponding class reference of the image view. So let's say image view is a class and its reference I'll be calling it as suppose ref. Okay, so this is just a reference. Now I have to map that particular image view which was present inside of the XML inside the reference variable. So I can say ref is equal to How to map that? Find view by ID, r dot id dot img1. So img1 was the ID of the image view present inside the XML file. So here we have mapped the image view. Now the thing is, whenever we are clicking on share image, it is suggesting our app, and when we select our app, the actual image will be transferred to our app via the intent. Okay, so we have to take the image from that intent. So in order to take the image from that intent, we must first of all get the reference to the intent. Now how we can do that? We already know that. So that can be done via the get intent. Now get intent is a method. If you press a control space here, now this is a method which returns me the object of type the intent. So I can say intent I is equal to get intent. So whatever the intent which has launched the current application, that intent reference I'm storing inside the reference called as I. Now what I need to do here is I need to take the image from the intent. Now image is generally a binary kind of data. So how to get that? So how to get the binary data? So for that you have to call object, that's the intent object dot get extras dot get, and for the binary data, the corresponding key is already present there as a static member of the intent class, and that is called as intent dot extra string, and that is called as the intent dot extra string. So always remember, if you are sharing any kind of binary data by using the intents, you can make use of this particular key. Okay, so this key stands for the stream kind of data, or we can say the binary data. Okay, so you can always remember that. Now just put a semicolon here. Now I don't know what kind of object it returns. So the solution is simple. We have to just go on to the gate and press the control space here. And when we press a control space, it will say that this particular method returns something of type object. Okay, so that's why I need to assign the value returned by it to the variable of type object. So let's say object O is equal to I dot get extra dot get intent. Now whatever the binary data is there, that will be available inside the object O. I just have to set this particular object O to the image view. Now we know the image view is now mapping to the variable called as ref, that's a reference. Okay, so I can say ref dot. Now for setting the image, there are two methods available. Okay, so it says a set image bitmap, so which requires a data of type bitmap, and one thing is available, set image URI. So whenever the image is already available in your Android device, you can refer that by using the URI, or if your image is available in your current project, you can refer it via the bitmap. Okay, now since the image is already available inside my Android device, I will try to identify that particular image with the help of URI. So I can say reference dot set image URI. Okay, and I'll set the image URI as O. Okay, now again one problem will be here. So O is of type object, and the set image URI requires the parameter of type URI. Again, no need to worry. Since we are using the IDE, we can resolve this error by using the suggestions given by the IDE. So this is the actual advantage of using the IDEs. Okay, even if you have any error in your code, it will automatically suggest you the suggestion which can correct your code. Okay, so this is what the code will look like. Now we'll try to run this code. So let me unlock my device. And I'll remove this app and remove the gallery app again. So as you can see, it's installing and the app is launched. So whenever we have launched, it will show the main activity because the intent filter for main activity is set to the main activity. Okay, now what we have to see is the demo of sharing the image through our app. So I'll open the very first photo inside my gallery and I'll click on the share. As you can see, once I click on the share, it will suggest my app. And now this time, when I click on this particular app, the data will be shared. The data will be shared with my activity, and it is displayed inside the activity or inside the image viewer of an activity. Okay, so this is how you can basically make your app callable just like a built-in application. Okay, so this is how you can make the built-in app callable just like some other built-in application. So with the help of this particular concept, you can implement any kind of application. So you can implement your image viewer, you can implement your own video player, you can implement your own browser. Okay, you can implement any kind of application with this particular concept. Okay, so if Android OS is generating any kind of data, this particular data will have three things associated with it. So always remember this. Okay, so what three things? First is the action, the second is the data, and third is the category. Okay, so if you know these things, what kind of action uh, you want to handle, what kind of data you want to handle, okay, you can possibly build the app to handle that kind of data. Okay, so this is how we can make our app callable by the Android OS. So this is the example that I have shown. Okay, now the second one that you are supposed to implement. Okay, so you're supposed to try it by your own. Okay, if you get any difficulty, you can ask me, of course. Okay, but this is what you're supposed to implement by your own. Okay, now let me underline the important things. The first thing that we have here is the view. Okay, and the second thing that we have or we have to observe is nothing but the web page. Okay, now from these two underlined things, what important idea you get? Okay, just reply in the chat box. From these important underlined things, what idea you get about for the intent filter? Okay, so for these important things, what idea you get about the intent filters? Okay, so what I underlined is, the first thing that I underlined is view, and the second thing I underlined is the web page. Okay, so this particular word, which is view, will suggest me the action. This will suggest me the action, and this particular part, that's a web page, will suggest me the type of data I have to handle. So type of data will be generally of type HTML, which is nothing but the subtype. Okay, and what will be the type then? So type will be very simple. The type will be simply text. The type will be simply called as text. I think, yeah, so text. Okay, so action will be the view, and the actual data mine type will be text/HTML. Okay, so this is how you can make your app callable. How to do that? Again, that you have to identify. If you get any problem here, you can ask me. Now, till now, if you have any doubt, please ask. Okay, so whatever we have learned for last few minutes, if you have any doubt in this, please ask. Yeah, if you have any doubt, please ask. Yeah, no doubt from your side. Okay, so I think we should proceed further since no doubts are there. Okay. So the next thing that we are supposed to understand is sending a broadcast message. Now, I already said at every minute or at every second, the Android OS generates some kind of messages which are sent to each and every app installed on your Android device. Okay, so what I said is, at every second, the Android operating system generates the messages which is sent to each and every app as shown in the figure, which is installed on your Android device. Okay. Now these messages are generally called as the broadcast message. Okay. So these messages are generally called as the broadcast message. Okay. Now these broadcast messages are actually sent by the Android operating system. Okay. Now the thing is, can your app send such a broadcast message? The answer to this question is yes. Okay. So before that, just try to identify which kind of the broadcast message sent by the Android operating system. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. So let's say charger connected. So when you plug in the charger, again the Android OS will generate a message that charger is connected and it will be sent to all other apps. Then whenever you are disconnecting the charger, so whenever you disconnect the charger, again the Android OS will generate a broadcast message and send it across the apps. Then most of the times you have figured out that if you are watching movies, or suppose if you are watching, if you are listening to the songs on some MP3 player, okay, and suddenly if you plug out your earphone, the corresponding song is paused automatically, or corresponding video will be paused automatically. Okay. Or sometimes you will come to know that whenever you plug in the charger and if the volume is too high, okay, which can damage your ears with the earphone, then the volume will be automatically decreased when you plug in the earphone. Now how these things happens? Okay, the working of these things is very simple. Whenever you plug in the earphone, the Android OS will detect this event and will pass this particular broadcast message to all other apps in order to know that the corresponding earphone is plugged in, and hence if the sound limit is higher, so that it can damage your ears, it will automatically decrease the level of the sound. Okay. Similarly, if you are listening a song in some MP3 player, if you are listening the song in some MP3 player, and suddenly if you plug out the charger, the Android OS will generate the broadcast message for that, and then the corresponding MP3 player will receive that message and it will pause the song. Sometimes you have observed that some application will automatically close when the battery goes low. Okay, so the reason behind this is, if the battery percentage goes low, then the Android OS sends the broadcast message. Okay, typically this percentage is 15%. Okay, so the standard percentage set by the Android operating system to send the broadcast messages whenever the battery goes low, okay, it is 15%. So if your battery goes below 50%, 15%, the Android OS will generate the broadcast message for you. Okay. Then you might have observed that some apps automatically start updating whenever you connect the Wi-Fi. Okay. Some apps automatically start updating whenever you connect it to the Wi-Fi. Okay. Now, how this thing is happened? The answer is very simple, with the help of the broadcast messages. So whenever you get connected to the Wi-Fi, the Android OS will detect this event, and in order to inform all other apps, it will simply generate a broadcast message called as the Wi-Fi connected. Again, suppose some incoming call comes, again the Android OS will generate a broadcast message. So the thing is, at every second, the Android OS is generating lots of messages and it is sending to all the apps which are installed on your device, and these messages are called as the broadcast message. Now the question is, yes, we know the OS will send the broadcast message, but is there any way that I can generate my own broadcast message and send it across all the apps installed on the device? Answer to this question is yes. You can generate your own broadcast message and you can send it across all the apps which are installed on OS. Okay. Now, how to do that? Now, this diagram we'll see later on. But before that, let's try to understand how we can send a broadcast message. So in order to understand that, we'll work with our app. So we'll try to understand it with the demo. So let's say the broadcast message will be generated by the activity in our app called as the main activity. Now, inside the activity main XML, I have to modify this text view with button, with button. So in such a way that whenever I'll be clicking on the button, a broadcast message will be sent. Broadcast message will be sent. So let's try to see how we can do that. So in order to send a broadcast, I need to create an event. So I'll click the handler for that. That's the on click event, and the handler will be the method. Okay. So let's call this particular method as send. Okay. Now again, I'm saying the method name can be anything. I have given this method name as send. Of course, you can give any other name to this. Okay. Now since the send method is not available previously, okay, we have to create this method. Just by accepting the suggestion, we are creating a send method. Now after the user click on this button, it will call the function send, and whenever the send function is called, I have to send a broadcast message. Now how to send a broadcast message? So for broadcast message sending, we have to create an intent first. Then we are supposed to set a proper action for that. We are supposed to set a proper action for that. Sometimes you set a data also, and sometimes you can additionally set the extras also. But again, these things, the data and extra, these things are not compulsory. Okay. Most of the times the action will do complete your purpose. Okay. So let's try to create the intent and set the action. So we'll try to implement the first two steps. So how to create the intent? So just simple intent I is equal to new intent. Okay. Now don't write here something called as a dot this, or let's say main activity dot this, and some other activity dot class. Okay. The reason behind this is I want to create this intent for the broadcast message, and hence you cannot give the name of the specific destination activity. Since it's a broadcast message, it should be sent to all other apps. Okay, so I'll simply create a plain intent by using the default constructor of the intent class. That's the intent I is equal to new intent. Then I have to set the action for that. So I can say I dot set action. Now here I don't want to use any built-in action, but I want to create my own custom action here. Okay, so let's say my action name will be Ajay with small a. So this is the custom action I have created. Now such kind of action not exist already in the Android, but this is the action that I have created with the custom. So I can say this action is Ajay. That's it. Okay, it has no any special meaning, or it does not perform any special operation. It's just a simple name for the action that user has created, so it can be called as the custom action. Now once I do that, what I can have is the step number 3. Okay, now what is the step number 3? You have to call the important method in order to send the broadcast. You have to call the important method in order to send the intent as a broadcast, and that particular method is the send broadcast. Okay. That particular method is the send broadcast, and if you observe it carefully, the send broadcast method takes the argument of type the intent. It means whatever the intent you have created in step number 1, you have to pass that intent to the method send broadcast as an argument. So let's try to do that. So let's go to the Android Studio, and we have created the intent I here. So we have to call the method send broadcast, and we have to pass this I as an argument. Now that's it. That's it. So we have created the intent, and we have sent this intent as a broadcast so that it will be received by each and every application. So let's try to run the code. So I have executed the code, and as you can see, it is installing the app. And once the app is installed, it will launch the main activity. Now let's click on the hello world button. So as you can see, if I'm clicking on the hello world button, nothing is happening. Okay, it means the broadcast is not sent. Actually, the broadcast is sent, but the thing is, there is no other application available on my device which will handle the action of type Ajay. So we can say the broadcast is actually sent, but since there is no other app available on my device which handles the action of name Ajay, we can't see any kind of response here. We can't see any kind of response here. Now, the broadcast is sent successfully. So when I click the button, the broadcast is actually sent in the background. Okay. But in order to receive this particular broadcast message, in order to do some activity against this broadcast message, what you need to have is something called as the broadcast receiver. So always remember, with the help of send broadcast method, you can actually send your intent as a broadcast to every other app. Now, in order to receive that particular broadcast message, or in order to respond that broadcast message, what you need to have is something called as the broadcast receiver. Okay, so we have sent the broadcast here. We have sent the broadcast here, but in order to receive that particular broadcast, what you need to have now is the broadcast receiver. Now let's see how we can implement the broadcast receiver. So broadcast receiver implementation is very simple. In order to create a broadcast receiver, okay, in order to respond to the message, you have to create a broadcast receiver and you have to register the broadcast receiver. So two steps are important. First is to create a broadcast receiver, and second thing is to register the broadcast receiver. Now, as a step number one, that's creating a broadcast receiver, you have to implement a class which is a subclass of the broadcast receiver. Okay, now how you can do that? Now I'll simply click on the app, just right click on the app and click on new, and we'll go to the other, and inside that one option is available, and that's called as the broadcast. So if I click on that, it will try to create the broadcast receiver by asking you some important information. So it will ask you the name of your broadcast receiver class. So let it keep as it is. I'll keep it my receiver, or if you want to change that, you can change it. Now, whether your broadcast receiver can handle the outside broadcast messages, okay, whether it can handle the broadcast messages sent by the other apps. If yes, you can check this exported as true. So by default, this is checked. If you don't want to listen the broadcast messages from the other apps, you can simply uncheck this box. But I want to listen the messages from other app also, or this broadcast receiver can handle the messages from other apps also. I'll check this particular part. Then by default, the broadcast receiver is disabled. Now, if you want the broadcast receiver to be enabled, you can check this box. So I want the broadcast receiver to be enabled by default. Okay. Now, the source language, either you can choose the Kotlin or you can go with Java. So I'll choose the Java, and then you can click on finish. Now, as you can see, as soon as you click on finish, what will happen here is it will create a class with the name that you have given, that's a my receiver, and this class will be subclass of a built-in class broadcast receiver. Okay, so as we have shown in the presentation, we have created a subclass of class broadcast receiver. And the second thing, we have to override a method on receive. So whatever the method is there, which is present inside the built-in class broadcast receiver, we have to override that. So this is the method on receive. Now on receive method will take two parameters. The first parameter is the context. Now what do you mean by context? So context is basically the reference to the activity. Context is nothing but the reference to the activity in which you have to make your broadcast receiver work. And what do you mean by the intent? The intent is basically the actual broadcast message or the broadcast intent which is received by your broadcast receiver. Okay, now let's try to do this particular thing. So let's say intent, and we'll put a dot. Okay, now there is a method called as the get action. As you can see, get action is a method, and get action method returns a string. Okay, so I'll see, set it as a get action, intent dot get action, and since it returns a string, I'll say string s is equal to intent dot get action. String s is equal to intent dot get action. Now what I have here is whatever the action of the current broadcast intent received by the broadcast receiver is available by intent dot get action, and that name of the action I have stored inside the s. Now remember, we have created a broadcast message here with the action name as Ajay. Okay, suppose whenever we receive the broadcast message with the name Ajay, I want to change the background color my app to red. Okay, so what I can do here is, if this particular s equals the broadcast message I sent with the action Ajay, so if the action name matches, I want to set the background color of my application to red. Okay, now how to set that? So this is my activity class. So for this particular background, I need to provide the ID. So let's say I provide the ID as @+ID. I'll simply call it as a parent. Okay, of course you can call it anything. I'll simply call it as parent, and I'll be referring this particular background with the ID parent inside the broadcast receiver. Okay, or before that, let's try to make it easy. So rather than changing a color, I can simply display a toast here. So rather than making the things complex, I can simply create a toast here. So I'll create a toast with the help of toast dot make text. The context will be used as the given context. Then the sequence text. So I can say Ajay broadcast message received, and the next thing is for how much time I want to display this toast. So this is for a long duration, and in order to display the toast, I have to call the show method on the toast. That's it. Now let's try to run the code. So what will happen now is, whenever we'll click on the main button, on the button inside the main activity, it will call a send method. Then inside the send method, it will create the intent with the action name as Ajay, and it will send that particular intent as a broadcast. Now, since we have written a broadcast receiver for handling the intent with the action Ajay, I can say this broadcast receiver will get activated. Now if s dot equals Ajay, it will display the toast. Now let's try to run this and see what happens now. Okay, so let's try to run the things, and as you can see, if I'm clicking on hello, okay, nothing is happening. Okay, let's try to run it once again and see. Yeah, so it's applying the change, and as you can see, nothing is happening. The reason behind that is, you have created a broadcast receiver, but you haven't registered this particular broadcast receiver in order to handle. You have created the broadcast receiver here, but you haven't registered your broadcast receiver in order to handle the action Ajay. Okay, now how to register this? Okay, so you have to go to the manifest.xml, and whenever you add a broadcast receiver, you can see there is one element created with the opening tag receiver and the closing tag receiver. So in order to handle the action with the name Ajay, you have to just add the intent filter with the name intent filter with the action name as Ajay. Okay, it means this particular broadcast receiver can respond to the action whose name is the Ajay. Okay, now let's try to run this again and see what will happen now. So let's wait till the project is installed. Yeah, so as you can see, our app is now launched, and if I click on the button, let me check what's happening here. It's not showing the intent. So action name is Ajay. This is given to the broadcast receiver. It's enabled, exported is true. So intent filter I have set, the receiver enabled. Then my receiver is implemented. S dot equals Ajay. Yeah, that's it. It's saying that, yeah, what's happening here? It's not showing the toast. Let's try to see it again. So if I click on the button, it's actually sending the broadcast. It's not showing the toast. Let me remove this. Let me remove these two conditions. So I'll just put a comment here and let's see what happened. We'll launch it again. And now we click on the button. Yeah, so it's not showing the message. Let me check what's wrong here. Public void on receive. This is the intent. Main activity is sending the broadcast. Then we have the on receive method. Yeah, so let's try to find out the context. Let's try to change the context by main activity dot. Yeah, so it will not show it on the main activity because the context is the broadcast, your current context. Okay, let me check what problem we'll have. Uh, yeah, so since the time is limited, I think we'll stop here, and the remaining part of the broadcast receiver we'll try to cover in the next lecture. Okay, so that's it for today's lecture. I think we should stop here because we already exceeded the time. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me on the WhatsApp or you can call me. No problem with that. Okay, just ask the doubts for clearing the concept. Okay, so I think we should stop here.